Breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video we have two questions to answer. The first being, who is Amado and what is his identity? And the second being, who is Kashin Koji to Amado? But before we get into that, go plus ultra and smash that subscribe button. It lets me know you rock with the content that I put out here on this channel. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now, with the massive twist that we received at the end of Boruto chapter 44, the most recent chapter, Amado had completely taken over the community and manga by storm with his presence, him taking Shikadai as hostage, him asking Shikamaru and Naruto if he could defect to the Leaf Village because he doesn't want to be a part of Kara anymore, and he was like, hey, if you accept me into the Leaf Village, I will give you information on Jigen, on Kara, on the Ten Tails. You can have everything you want. I just want to join the Leaf Village. Ever since then, I have been racking my brain about how to make sense of what had happened, and I wanted to reapproach a previous theory I had back in like the earlier chapters of Boruto. I think like late 20s, early 30s, something like that. I get confused because, you know, the chapters are monthly, but I had a video involving Kashin Koji where I theorized that Kashin Koji's true identity was Konohamaru's father. And the reason being is because the Boruto manga had highlighted Konohamaru quite a lot, and they still do. Konohamaru is the lead of the current Team 7 with Boruto, Sarada, Mitsuki, and Kawaki. And you can say that it's symbolism because Naruto taught Konohamaru, so to speak, and now he's teaching Boruto. And I will agree with you 100%. But the manga has highlighted Konohamaru heavily, but it also highlights Shikadai in the entire Inashikacho heavily as well. Shikadai, Chocho, and Inojin have been on quite a few missions in the Boruto series, and that's something the original Naruto series never really did. It was kind of just Team 7, and that was it. I can't remember too many times that an entire team also tagged along with Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke, or Naruto, Sakura, and Sai, right? But the Inashikacho trio have been a part of Team 7 more times than not. So this series definitely emphasizes Konohamaru and the Inashikacho lineage, or you could argue the Asuma lineage as well, because there is a parallel. But not only that, the manga has also, for some reason, given us insight onto who Konohamaru's parents were, something that I don't think any Naruto fan really asked about, right? They've chosen to do this on their own volition. It states that his parents were elite Anbu level ninja and the personal jonings assigned to the third Hokage Hiruzen. Now, when I started piecing all this together, it really got my gears turning in my head, because in chapter 44, it further pushes the theory because the symbolism of Amado arriving at the border of the Leaf Village, and the symbolism of Amado smoking, and the absolute symbolism of the first people that he runs into are the current generation of Inashikacho. Much like how we saw Asuma with the previous generation of Inashikacho, and the parallels become obvious between Amado and Asuma at this point in time. This is where my new theory starts to come about. So who is Amado? There is still a possibility that Amado is Konohamaru's father. I can't take that off the table, but I think that the most likely scenario for this situation is that Amado is simply one of Hiruzen's sons that was not previously known to us in the current Naruto series. Meaning, my theory is that Amado is Konohamaru's second uncle. Alright? Now bear with me. The reason I think that it's an unknown son of Hiruzen is because Asuma and Konohamaru's father seem completely capable of handling themselves in a fight. Alright? Asuma being one of the 12 guardians that was assigned to protect the Land of Fire's daimyo, and Konohamaru's father being one of the elite jonin, one of 2 assigned to protect and work with the third Hokage. But when Amado was captured by Shikadai in the shadow possession in chapter 44, it should have been cakewalk if this was Konohamaru's father to dodge a Genin level shadow possession jutsu. But Amado didn't. And you can argue he let himself be captured by Shikadai. It's entirely possible. You know, he has those scientific ninja tools that are voice commanded, so him being immobile doesn't seem to affect him at the least. He could have just been extremely cocky in this scenario. But he strikes me more as the brainy type that is going to specifically rely on the scientific ninja tools in order to get the job done. I mean, every time we've seen Amado up until this point, he's been working on computers and laptops and things of that nature, and he's like one of 2 maybe people in the entire Naruto Boruto universe that is able to engineer scientific ninja tools on such a high level. I mean, the man outright created androids with Boruto, Delta, and Kashin Koji. This isn't something that you just pick up in like 10 years. No, he's been at this probably since he was a young person. This brings me to the next part of the argument that I really want to talk about in this video, because if this theory is to be correct, we still don't know how Amado died, or how have you. If this theory is right and Amado is the second uncle of Konohamaru and the third son of Hiruzen, we don't know how he died. Something would have had to have happened to Amado to where he died before Konohamaru's parents died. Okay, you see what I'm saying? And don't roll your eyes, because we all know how Kishimoto likes to write. He loves writing people who have supposedly died, but they come back later down the line and they're suddenly alive for whatever reason. You know it's true. It happened with Madara after he fought Hashirama, and it happened with Obito when he was crushed by the boulder, but he was not really crushed by the boulder because he was saved by Zetsu. Whatever. You know Kishimoto likes to write shit like that, so just bear with me. And humor me for a second that Amado was maybe presumed dead, but his body was never found, and he was actually alive somewhere, but he had so much resentment for his father or whatever that he just never returned to the village. Or maybe he's been captured by Jigen this entire time, because, you know, as a young shinobi, maybe in his 20s or something like that, he showed a lot of promise with his scientific ninja tools, so Jigen has had him captured this entire time and working on advancing those tools. It's entirely possible, and this is just now the first time that he's had an opportunity to escape. Wow, that's actually a really good theory I just had. This is probably the first time that Jigen has been in this weekend of a state after his battle with Sasuke and Naruto, which would then have given Amado the first time in probably decades to be able to escape. And of course, Kashin Koji is now about to go face off against Jigen, because I think it stated that he hasn't even recovered 10% of his true power yet. So if there was ever a time to kill Jigen, this would be the time, and that is what Kashin Koji is doing currently within the Boruto series. Of course, chapter 44 focused on Amado, so we're waiting to see that fight between Kashin Koji and Jigen in the lair. Baro is destroyed, Delta is shut down, so it is literally a 1v1 Kashin Koji versus Jigen. Can Kashin Koji take down a 10% Jigen? That is going to be the real question. I think yes, but we really wouldn't have a series if it ended that quickly, so I think Kashin Koji is going to fail. Now, because of all this, this naturally leads into the very last question that I want to answer for this video, and that is, who is Kashin Koji to Amado? Alright? Because what we get from chapter 44 is the sense that Baro, Delta, and Kashin Koji, they're all androids, okay? Baro was having his body absolutely obliterated by Kawaki and Naruto, and his entire body regenerated, okay? That's not human shit. That's very android-like shit. Then you have Delta being kill switched by Amado, and then you have the remark from Kashin Koji that states, I was probably programmed with a kill switch much like Delta. So if you're programmed, you're not human at that point. So who is Kashin Koji to Amado? I believe that Kashin Koji is the representation and embodiment of Jiraiya to Amado. Meaning all of the androids that he programmed at some point in time meant something to him in his history. We don't know who Baro is, we don't know who Delta is, but we could absolutely be fools and say that Kashin Koji does not resemble Jiraiya, not both physically and internally when it comes to his jutsus. I mean, the summoning jutsu, the Rasengan, the fire release, it's all synonymous with Jiraiya. Side note, just thought about this, fire style is kind of, you know, the Sarutobi clan shit, so if Amado was a Sarutobi, it would make complete sense why he would have fire release. But let's continue and let's move on. Let's assume that this theory is right, and let's assume that Amado is the middle child of Hiruzen. I know earlier I think I said that he would have been the youngest, but I moved him to the middle child just based off of how old Asuma is. I would put Asuma at the youngest, Amado as the middle, and Konohamaru's father as the oldest. But I believe that Amado would have been something similar to how Naruto and Konohamaru's relationship was. I believe that Jiraiya would have taught Amado in a very similar way. We know that Jiraiya loves mentoring and teaching people. Okay, he's taught Naruto, Minato, and Nagato. It's entirely possible that he would have had a early student in his younger days, almost exactly similar to how we see Naruto and Konohamaru. You have to think about it. Whenever Naruto would learn a new jutsu, he would call up Konohamaru and be like, hey, I just learned this new jutsu, I want to show it to you and I want you to learn it. And then Naruto would run off and do whatever mission that he had coming up next. He did it with the transformation jutsu, he did it with the sexy jutsu, he did it with the shadow clone jutsu and the Rasengan, and then he even taught him the summoning jutsu. Naruto has taught Konohamaru every single jutsu he has ever learned in his entire life. Okay? I don't even know if Konohamaru knows any other types of jutsus other than what Naruto has taught him. I think I've seen him do a fire release, but I could be wrong. It doesn't change the fact that this is entirely possible. I do have some factual information to corroborate this theory that I have. I take you back to the beginning of Naruto, and I take you back to when Naruto learned the summoning jutsu from Jiraiya. I don't know why I can't talk right now. The toad scroll that you see Naruto signing with his blood, that is Jiraiya's personal scroll for summoning jutsu, meaning nobody else has that exact scroll. And if Jiraiya doesn't want you to sign that scroll, then you're not going to sign that scroll. That is his personal scroll. Now, when you look at this picture, the first thing people are going to try to do is translate the kanjins. But those literally are just scribbles. People have already tried. They're like, yo, this isn't Japanese, this is literal scribbles. It doesn't matter if they're scribbles or not. In the context of the anime, those scribbles mean something. So we have to interpret them as actual names. So let's work backwards from left to right. So at number 5, you have Naruto and his fresh signature that he just signed within the Toad Scroll. Minato's signature would be right beside Naruto's at number 4, and let's assume Nagato's signature is the 3rd signature on that list. While we never saw Nagato use the summoning jutsu, we know that Jiraiya pretty much taught all of his students the summoning jutsu. So Nagato would be no exception to this rule. We know for a fact that Jiraiya is the first name on that list, which then only leaves the mystery of whoever the second name on that list is, right behind his own name and before Nagato's. If my theory is correct, this is where Amado's name would be. Even if Amado is a trash shinobi, he would still learn jutsus just like the rest of shinobi. Now, to wrap this all up, we need to peek into the relationship of Asuma and his father, the 3rd Hokage. In the OG Naruto series, we know that Hiruzen had a falling out at some point, and that's when Asuma left the village and became one of the 12 guardians. What they had a falling out over, we don't know, and we never did find out. I can only assume that he left after the death of Konohamaru's father and mother and resented the 3rd Hokage because of their deaths, due to the fact that with them being the personal Anbu of Hiruzen, they would have had to have fought a lot of heavy hitters in the day. I believe that if the flashback is correct, and when Hiruzen approached Orochimaru in his lair and those 2 Jonin got cut down, that those were both Konohamaru's father and mother, and for Asuma to find out that he let another son of his die, and even the mother of his grandchild die, and he didn't capture the person who did it, I believe that would have enraged a young Asuma to the point to where he just didn't want to have anything to do with his grandfather. He didn't want to have anything to do with his father, and he left the village out of spite, joined the 12 Guardians, but then after the whole debacle happened where 6 of the 12 Guardians defected and went to go try to kill the Hokage, and that's when Asuma and his other 5 of the Guardians defeated them, and then there was only 2 left. He said, alright, I'm done with that, and he went back to the village to take on his Jonin duties. I believe that is when everything really went down, but again, this is just a theory, a very long theory. I hope I was concise enough for everybody in this video. This has gone on long enough. If you made it to the end, thank you for rocking with me. Go plus ultra and smash that subscribe button if you are new. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video if you believe that Amado could potentially be one of the sons of the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen. If not, tell me who you think he would be. Share the video, and like always, keep it safe for appetite. I'm out.